Yeah, well, the batteries went flat. My batteries is dead. And now I've recharged it. Sun's gone down a bit. Anyway, I couldn't find where it had been, but I remember it was actually on the internet I read, and it was quite a chronic number. I thought it was in here, but it wasn't. It was a shocking amount. It was like, oh, it was just bucket loads. Hundreds of thousands of lambskins it was. Just for Russia, never mind England or anything like that. Women in munitions factories. She used to be a model, and if you can see it as good as I can, she's actually quite hot. There was a bit of an unemployment problem at the start of 1941, to the point that some men didn't have a terribly great amount of jobs, and by the end of the year it was like, shit, everyone was in jobs, and by 42 we were out of people for the manpower thing. Things moved bloody quickly. I mean, there was changes month to month. Really, it was that bloody crazy. Life was changing every month. No wonder people were hoarding petrol, because they could probably see that sort of stuff coming. So, yeah. It says in here that they actually had banned communism. So people were a bit funny to know if we're helping the Russians even though we still hate communism. But they sort of concluded that any man whose country is invaded is naturally, communist to caveman to capitalist, is all going to fight back regardless, because it's just part of instinct. Yeah. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, not all the Italians were interned. Some were, but there's quite a lot that were left to go on with their business. But it was, not terribly good to have a shop if you were German or Italian, because particularly Italians, there's quite a few already here. They had quite a lot of fruit shops and fish shops, and don't be terribly surprised if you might get your windows smashed. Actually had one squabble in an Italian fruit shop, and it took quite a while for 15 police to break up the fight. I'm not joking. That must have been a bit of a bun fight. And you'd be surprised to find out that a lot of the punch-ons and window smashing were actually bloody housewives smashing up blasted thing. Initially it was men, but it seemed that there was quite a few housewives that were actually not necessarily smashing windows, but they were definitely laying down some pretty good threats that if you don't close your shops, we're going to smash your windows in. And things are going to turn from threats to friggin' violence. Things are going to turn from mediocre to very bad rather quick. Turns out this ARF is the shit. Just about to say it was here somewhere. Air raid practitioner or some shit. I'm sure you could probably look it up anyway. What's here? Anyway, they're doing a few exercises there, trying to simulate the loading of an unexploded bomb for transport into an area where it could be blown safely. Yeah, boys getting on ships. think it was air raid practitioners or something like that. ARP again. I'll talk about the ARP there. Reconditioning army tunics. God blimey. Yes. Well, you can't see terribly well. Lewis gun. That was one of the ones that my grandfather was. They had one amongst about 10 guys or something like that, and the rest of them, hell of a lot of them had obviously Lee Enfield rifles, and there's at least 3 or 4 Tommy guns per every sort of 10, 12 man squad. Pretty good Lewis gun if you've actually seen it, like a 303 Lee Enfield cartridge, which is basically the same power as a 308 Winchester. Comparatively, realistically, that's about what it's like. 7.62 NATO, and it's funny. All the bullets are sort of inside, and they sort of go around almost like petals on a flower. But I think they sort of almost do like 1.5 revolutions inside, or something like that. Full auto, and big sort of a bit of thin pipe over the outside of the barrel, so you can hang on, without getting warm hands or something like that. They actually set them up with a sight to try and shoot aircraft with them, but they're about, I think they were 20 shot. I can't remember. I think they were 20 shot, but they were full auto anyway. And I mean, you could fairly rip the shit out of it with one of them. Once you had one of them in your hands, it was like sort of like a friggin' full auto AR-10, so it was good toy. Sea Scouts, bunch of blooming kids drilling, mucking around with stuff to, I think it's a bit like surveying equipment, or probably just signalling or something like that, mirror signalling. I don't think it'd be surveying equipment somehow. Yeah, first of all, it was just sort of Britain was in, and then we got in ourselves. Yeah, anyway, there we go.